Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Nick with Starfall Sabers. For those of you who are new to this channel, what I'm mainly known for is my handmade one-off saber creations, but I do occasionally design a production saber, and that's what we're going to talk about today. My collaboration with the good folks over at Sabertrio for this custom saber, SOLARIEN. Okay, so I'm going to do an unboxing video of the saber and show you some of the design aesthetics and talk about the design a little bit and what went into it. First off, Sabertrio does such an amazing job with just the presentation and their boxes. This is highly reflective. You can kind of see me in that there. They wanted to do this really beautiful high gloss wrap around this box signifying our collaboration, so I'm really happy with that. It's really pretty. And so let's take a look inside here. You can see here a profile of the saber, Sabertrio and Starfall Sabers. Beautiful packaging. This weapon is your life. Try not to lose it. Obi-Wan quoted there to Anakin. And we take this out and we have SOLARIEN beautifully presented here. So we take it out of its foam encasement here. I'm going to go over this in just a sec. I just want to show you what else is included in this box. You have this nice little pamphlet here that has instructions and your retention screw. So a quick start for a tutorial, and you have an Allen key here. I'm not going to demo with the blade, so we'll just put that aside. As you go deeper into the box here, you have a charger. And the wire for the charger here. I believe this is for different speaker systems. I know they have a collaboration with Smuggler's Outpost for their speaker, and so you can house the separate speaker there if you want. I believe that's what that is for. So we'll set this beautiful packaging aside and take a look at the hilt. Now, my relationship with Sabertrio goes back years. Many years ago, man, shoot, I would think even pre-COVID, so probably maybe 7 or 8 years ago, I had acquired some of their scratch and dent pieces. I don't believe I went through them. I think someone had just given me a box of some of their stuff. Anyway, especially in the early days, I would like to chop up different saber pieces and create something new, kind of very similar to how the original trilogy guys would, kind of cobble together different parts to make something new. And so I had done that with, I believe, an Arclight design from Sabertrio, and that I used it in my Scrapflex saber, which was, I became really well known for, and I ended up eventually doing a production run with that. But eventually, one of the owners from Sabertrio had contacted me through Instagram, and we had just created a friendship over time with our love for sabers. And we had kind of always talked about doing a collaboration, but they were always so busy, and so was I, and the timing just never seemed to be right. Well, a little over a year ago, they reached out to me, and the timing was right, and we could finally move forward with doing a collaboration saber, and I'm just so honored and so thrilled to be able to have done this. This saber is the result of that, and I just couldn't be happier. This is just such a cool experience, and the fine people at Sabertrio are just a joy to work with. They gave me free creative reign on this build, and so I thought a lot about thought a lot about the design of what I wanted to do. I had noticed in their previous designs, they didn't have like any type of grip shroud. So I wanted to include that because that's kind of a staple of a lot of my sabers. Also, I wanted to make sure that we did away with the AV switch. Personally, I haven't been a fan of those, and so I wanted something more elegant, something more in-universe. And so I was very happy that they actually had already kind of implemented some of that with the Aria Saber, with a switch box. And so we were able to do this beautiful switch box with these brass tactiles. So how I approach this is I have a design partner, Gustavo Canales, who runs Laredo Sabers. And I worked with him on my the Starfall trilogy, which was 3 sabers that I designed that Gustavo helped engineer for production. And so I just can't sing Gustavo's praises enough. So I knew I had to have him on board when working with Sabertrio. And so essentially I sketched out the saber from this angle and I think this angle. And then we had many talks and with Gustavo, and he was able to take that 2D sketch and the idea and put it into, 3D images and renderings so that we could then present it to Sabertrio and get the approval for the go-ahead. And really, at first I wanted to do kind of less is more. So, but this is basically what I had sketched out, but I left some details out because I kind of wanted to get the team's feedback. And so they encouraged us to, hey, put more detail, put more detail into this. And so we finally landed on this design, which again is basically the sketch that I did, but with a lot more just detail added. I also left the crystal chamber for them to design, and they did a fabulous job with this. It looks really good. So this really is a true collaboration. Also, I want to shout out Gustavo from Laredo Sabers again, because if you are either a saber company or just someone who maybe wants to get your design realized and you have some sketches, you can reach out to him, and he is just a fantastic human to work with, and he's very talented. So this, I couldn't have done this without him as well. So he's a great partner in crime when it comes to this. So I'll take you just through some of the ideas that I wanted for the saber. So again, I noticed that some of Sabertrio's designs, or any of them really, didn't have any type of grip shroud, and I'm a real fan of those. You see that in a lot of my handmade sabers. On top of that, I wanted to do, I asked him if we could do real brass on the grip sleeve and also on these emitter shrouds, on the emitter here and also the blade plug. And so Sabertrio was very receptive to all these ideas, and I'm so thankful because this saber, it's heavy. It feels like a real world, weapon in the Star Wars universe. On top of that, I was thinking, if we're going to do this, I wanted to approach it as if this was the last one, as if this would never happen again. So I wanted to throw everything in on it. So we kind of have a duality type vibe of kind of like a Mace Windu style, or sorry, not Mace Windu. Everyone is saying there's Mace Windu. This reminds them of Mace's saber, but that's actually not what I was going for. But maybe subconsciously it was, it just made its way into the saber. Originally, it was more of like a Sidious, Darth Sidious emitter shape. But then I also wanted like the Graflex swoop and Graflex pins. But it's kind of sinister looking how it allows space for this control box here. Definitely wanted to include a crystal chamber. Now I know since the reveal, some people were hoping that there could be a cover for this, that possibly down the road, maybe. We're in talks about that. But I do want to point out, it's if you look at the profile here, it's definitely recessed into the hilt a good amount. And so this is, you can hard duel with this, even if theoretically a blade accidentally, hits the chamber here, it's still not going to to damage the crystal chamber. And it is solid. This saber is incredibly solid. They did a great job with the build quality. Also, to note, all these edges here are nicely chamfered, and so it's you could easily palm over the saber here, no problem. I put a blade in here and I've spun this around, and it is very comfortable to hold. On top of that, what was important with these tactile buttons is we didn't want to get any accidental button presses. And so you can actually palm completely over this switch and not press the buttons at all. Yet when you're ready to do button presses, it's super easy. And listen to that beautiful click. Just a nice, they're so responsive. So moving down the saber, so we had kind of the Darth Sidious kind of dark side emitter with, you know, Anakin, reminiscent of Anakin Graflex S-curve. You got the crystal chamber. Wanted a nice choke point, which feels really good to hold it here or here. Either way, it's nice. And then we wanted to have some of that utilitarian look. So we have this slotted gearing, kind of book ending the grip. We have the asymmetrical grip shroud, which was important because if you look, like as you spin the saber, there's just always something very interesting to look at. It just changes all the different lines of the saber, so it's it just never gets boring. There's always something cool to look at. And then of course we wanted the knurling, because I've done a lot of that in my sabers, and this is they've done knurling in Sabertrio as well, so it kind of fit aesthetically, we think. So nice chunky pommel, which is nice. You can grip it at the end here if you wanted to do that. CoverTech wheel, which also doubles as the chassis guide. So I'm going to show you that. We're going to take a look at the electronics. Really impressed with Sabertrio's power core system, where basically if you have a power core, then you can buy different empty hilts with the connector, and you can just swap this power core in and out of all your Sabertrio sabers, which is kind of nice. But you'll see there is a slot here, which ensures that everything is aligned. There is the CoverTech sinks into the ID of the hilt there so that it'll align this. Really cool. You can swap out your speakers by just unscrewing this. It has Bluetooth. It has in-hilt charging here. So this doubles as a charger for your removable battery. And what is nice, on my demo version here, I don't have the Starfall collection of sound fonts installed on here, but for everyone who buys SOLARIEN, whether you get it installed or not, if you get it installed, it's going to come pre-downloaded with all the Starfall collection of sound fonts. That's a huge value. It's proprietary fonts that I paid 2 different font makers to make basically saber fonts that that I wanted to hear. Like I hadn't heard them in other fonts, and so they're exclusive to Starfall, but I decided to, as a value boost for this saber, include this, and I couldn't be happier because it just means that more people get to hear the beautiful work that went into creating these fonts. Unfortunately, I don't have it on this one to show off, but Sabertrio is going to be making more videos about those fonts, so stay tuned. So let's go ahead and turn this on. This saber is incredibly loud. You get a boot up sound as it makes contact. And as you screw in the pommel, it's going to engage those pins. And then you see the crystal pulsing. So I did purposely put it on the yellow amber blade style here, just because it looks so great with the saber. And you have power on. Twist on and twist off. And you push and hold the auxiliary.
Sound bank selection.
And then you can go
I wondered when you would return.
forward or backwards with the button presses here for sound font cycling through all of them.
You ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? So powerful and so wise.
Oh, I don't have the touch right now. There we go. So all in all, an absolute beautiful saber. I'm so happy with just the build quality and just so ecstatic that I was able to, that our two companies were able to come together and offer this saber as not only just a limited release, but Solarian is going to be added to Sabertrio's lineup. So this comes out May 4th. I'm so excited for people to experience what we can do as collaborators, and we're not done. So stay tuned in the future. Hopefully we'll see even more collaborations. So thank you so much, guys, for sticking around, taking a look at Solarian. May 4th, this goes on sale. So we'll see you then, and may the force be with you.